Hi, it's Clarence. Now I know it's been a few months since my last update, and I'm very sorry. But things have been happening. It hasn't been the best time in my life. If you remember from the last video, I was going through a terrible divorce, and took a little while to get over that. But I made some changes, as you can see. Got a beard now, not wearing a hat. That's my bravery. Um, and so I just said one day, you know what? I just need to pick myself up and move on. And some of the women in my office, I'm still working for OWN, the Oprah's network. I am the vice president in charge of programming, and I also get to decide what goes into the vending machines. So there's so much responsibility, but creative responsibility. Very happy about that. Anyway, some of the girls in the office said that, we should all just take a big vacation together, group vacation and go have some fun. Figure beginning of September is the best time to go. Not a lot of, college kids running around. They're all back, hitting the books. And so we were arranging everything by text. And I got the first text, where everyone had decided to go. What I did not know was that it had cut off and there was a second part. So I, made my travel reservations after the first text, and while they are in Daytona Beach, Florida, I am in Dayton, Ohio. And it's their loss, really. I'm having so much fun here. There's so much fun, interesting things to do. And one of the things that there's here to do that I was very happy about is that there is a theater here, and they are doing a show that I went to see, and it's called The Full Monty. Now, I'd never heard of the show before, but I figured just from the title alone that it was about, the life and times of Monty Hall from Let's Make a Deal, and it's not. Um, uh, I'll just set the scene for you. It opens up, there's all these women, and they're, hooting and hollering, having a good time, and then this fireman walks out, and at first I was like, oh no, there's a fireman, maybe there's a fire, but it turns out no, because the fireman starts taking off his clothes, and initially my first thought was, that's pretty irresponsible. If there's a fire going on, you need that protection to go and fight it. No, it turns out he was a stripper, and all the women were there to see him, taking off his clothes and stuff. And anyway, after that scene was over, you get to the meat of the story. It's all about these guys in Buffalo, New York, and they used to work in a steel mill, but then they got laid off because I think there was a steel shortage or something. I'm sure, history will back me up on that. And so anyway, they get the idea that, they don't have any money, they don't have any income coming in, so that they are going to start their own group of strippers and, make a lot of money in one night, who wouldn't, really? And so they get this group together, and they're not the type that you would think would be strippers, really. There's, like the nerdy one and the weird one and, a couple older ones, and then there was a fat one, but it wasn't really that fat. And so they go on and they do their, their stripping and their rehearsing, and, it kind of seems hopeless at first because, they never danced before, let alone took off their clothes in front of a bunch of people. And so, it's really funny, and there's a lot of wonderful music. And I got to thinking while I was watching it, maybe this is all about Monty Hall, maybe it's just, some sort of, analogy or something, like what's behind door number one. You just don't know, until they, take their clothes off and stuff. But yeah, but you know what? And seeing this show, I realized, all this being down in the dumps because, I got a divorce after, a quickie marriage, and it happens all the time. Why be depressed about it? Really, I am so lucky, I get to, at work, I get to decide whether or not we put Malamars in the vending machines, you know, because they should be seasonal. They melt, you know, and but we're in air conditioning, so who cares, you know? Caution to the wind. Oh yeah, and of course I get to, you know, choose just, you know, what's on OWN, you know, and you know Oprah, I'm sure is happy with. I've never met her, but I hear she's lovely. Um, so so yeah, and also I mean, uh, being so lucky as to get to travel. I mean, I haven't traveled all that much. You know, I lived most of my life in Grove City, Ohio, and then I moved to New York, and you know, I'm still, you know, desperately looking for, you know, a waiter job there because, you know, that is my dream to be a waiter in New York City. You know, I'm just doing this vice president in charge of programming for OWN, you know, just till, you know, I hit my big break. Uh, but you know, and now I get to see Dayton, Ohio, which I had never even traveled to when I lived in Grove City, Ohio, and it's beautiful. I'm having a wonderful time. But anyway, so yeah, if you are around in Dayton, Ohio, then I would definitely say to drive on over to the Human Race Theater and go see it.